This is your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Wednesday, June 26. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. The Director of Public Prosecutions today dropped all drug charges against Charles Herbert on the grounds of a lack of evidence. However, the DPP has recommended that his co-accused, Christopher Glenn Rogers and Walter O'Neill Prescott, face a jury in connection with a drug bust at the Bridgetown port in July 2018. Magistrate Douglas Frederick is still to make a decision on the DPP's recommendation in relation to Rogers and Prescott. The three were jointly accused of possession with intent to supply, trafficking and importation of 267 pounds of cannabis, estimated street value of over $500,000. Assistant Superintendent of Police Trevor Blackman is prosecuting the case, while Queen's Counsel Andrew Pilgrim represents Herbert and Rogers. Attorney at law Villa de Pisa is the legal counsel for Prescott. The case continues on July 16. An intense search is continuing for two American visitors reported missing since Monday. 48 hours ago, Oscar Suarez and Magdalena DeVille of New Jersey rented a jet ski at Old Town Beach in St. James and have not been seen since. Searches by police, the Barbados Coast Guard and the regional security system have so far proved futile. At a news conference at police headquarters this evening with top officials and the family of the two missing persons, Lieutenant Commander Ryan Allen provided a full update on the search.
The search stretched as far west as 25 nautical miles northwest in trying to do a sweep to see if we can see either the jet ski or the two persons. Up to that time, we came up empty-handed, unfortunately. With that, we rendered or asked for some assistance from the regional security system, from the air wing, and they then flew also in the area of Old Town and approximately 25 nautical miles west of Barbados. As the drift would indicate that the persons would be drifting in a northwesterly direction. So that search also came up empty-handed, unfortunately, and we are still out at this point. Vessels are still at sea, combing the areas to the northwest of Barbados. We have also made contact with the St. Vincent and St. Lucia Coast Guard with regards to if any jet ski may come up in their coastal surveillance, to please notify us also. But to this point, the search is still continuing, and we will say that Coast Guard continues to make sure that we do our utmost best to keep you, the family, and the media updated as to what, if we can find any remnants of the jet ski or the two persons who are deemed missing.
Along with police and other officials, the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. is providing full support to the family and is mobilized to respond to reports from the international media about the incident.
We've welcomed the family. We are going to spend all of our time ensuring that we can accommodate them as best that we can. We are going to try and answer any questions that they have or put them on to the appropriate sources where they can sort of get their questions. Certainly you would all have been aware that in the past 24 hours or so there has been fairly extensive coverage in the overseas media, most notably in the New York area and the New Jersey area, and we have been contacted. So our New York office certainly has been very involved in the situation, certainly from the start. Our director Petra Roach, along with myself, and we have a full-service public relations agency in the New York City. And our job is really to respond to any queries from the overseas media at this time and literally to translate to them any official statements and updates that's coming from the relevant authorities here in Barbados.
Attorney General Dale Marshall today assured members of the business community that the promised integrity in public life legislation will be delivered before year end. Addressing the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry Integrity Seminar at the Hilton Barbados today, Marshall told the gathering that several changes have been made to ensure government tackles the problem comprehensively. He says rather than present a hodgepodge integrity bill, government will present a suite of special purpose legislation.
So these 4 statutes, the Whistleblower, Prevention of Corruption, Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, and the Integrity in Public Life Bill, when passed, will constitute a coherent and logical suite of legislation that will strengthen our ability as a country to deal comprehensively and meaningfully with many of the thorny issues and nefarious deeds that plague modern Barbados. But we want them to come into being more or less at the same time.
Meanwhile, the business community tackled the AG on why no one has been taken before the law courts in connection with the issues raised by the Auditor General. Marshall, however, assured that some of the concerns raised in the Auditor General's report will be examined and action will be taken on matters warranting prosecution. He, however, made it clear that this is not the real purpose of the annual report.
The purpose of the Auditor General's report is not to ferret out evidence to facilitate a prosecution. That's not what the Auditor General does. And there are many accountants in here who understand what an internal auditor does and so on. Now, along the way, the Auditor General may throw up matters which we may then consider it necessary to look into and to investigate. Every act of misfeasance, for example, is not going to be a criminal act that would trigger an investigation.
In sports, West Indies batting legend Brian Lara was given the all-clear and discharged from a Mumbai hospital a day after he was admitted due to chest pains. A hospital spokesman says he is in good health. Lara was rushed to hospital on Tuesday in India's financial capital, where he is working for Star Sports, the official broadcasters of the ongoing Cricket World Cup. The 50-year-old Trinidadian underwent several tests, but authorities assured that he is fine. Lara also released an audio recording last night saying he was fine and may just have extended himself in the gym.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, it's official. Antigua and Barbuda will be the home of a new University of the West Indies campus known as the Five Islands Campus. Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, made the announcement at a press conference. The move was approved by the UE Council. As he urged the region to embrace the move, Sir Hilary announced that the OECS has one of the lowest rates of youth tertiary education enrollment in the Caribbean, and this is a major threat to sustained development in the sub-region. He says the establishment of the campus is an opportunity to correct the problem.
The Five Islands campus will begin by admitting its first cohort of some 800 students in September of this year. The majority of these 800 students are already registered in levels 1 and 2 of University of the West Indies programs currently being delivered in Antigua and Barbuda under a franchise agreement at the Antigua State College and other tertiary institutions. These students will be invited to transition over to the Five Islands campus. This is an historic moment in the development of the Caribbean community in Antigua and Barbuda, in the OECS, and for the University of the West Indies that is committed to serving the needs of its chartered members and the entire region. Like its sister campuses at Mona, St. Augustine, Cave Hill, and the Open Campus, the Five Islands campus will begin in a modest fashion and will no doubt rise to magnificent heights in the years to come.
On the international scene, the Iranian foreign minister has responded to President Donald Trump's recent threats to Tehran on Twitter, saying that the United States is not in a position to obliterate Iran. Speaking exclusively to CNN a week after Iran downed a U.S. military drone, the minister said the U.S. actions have been confrontational and provocative, but that Iran is not seeking war.
And the first thing I asked him is what he makes of the current threats from President Trump and others in the administration. Here's what he had to say.
What do you make of President Trump's threats of obliteration and that war with the United States won't last very long?
Well, he's certainly wrong, but that statement indicates that the United States' intentions are certainly illegal. The United States is not in a position to obliterate Iran. They do not have the capability, other than using prohibited weapons, to do this. The Iranian people are prepared to resist any aggression, but we're not seeking war. We don't seek war. We do not seek a confrontation. The actions by the United States over the past few weeks have been confrontational, provocative, particularly the imposition of sanctions on Iranian leadership has been an additional insult by the United States against the entire Iranian nation. Iran has been implementing its rights under the nuclear deal and under Security Council Resolution 2231. The United States is in flagrant violation. And I think President Trump should remember that we don't live in the 18th century. There is a United Nations Charter, and threat of force is illegal.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper email updates, to like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.